No more mulligans needed, as after 28 years, the city of Gering officially owns the Monument Shadows Golf Course. KNEB.TV News starts right now.
From your trusted source for news in western Nebraska and eastern Wyoming, this is KNEB.TV News. Presented by Platte Valley Companies, premier provider of financial services.
Hello, I'm Ryan Murphy. This is KNEB.TV News, powered by Platte Valley Companies. Thanks for joining me. In our top story, the city of Gering now legally owns the Monument Shadows Golf Course. After $2.8 million in bonds issued in 1996 to finance the building on the golf course, they were officially paid off on December 12th, and the Gering Leasing Corporation transferred the property to the city officially during a special meeting Thursday evening. City Administrator Pat Heath explained there will be a benefit for the city now owning the facility.
As long as it's in the leasing court, the city pays property taxes on the new golf course. And so now that that bond's been released and the bond's paid off, we can transfer the property from the Gering Leasing Corp to the City of Gering Golf Course. And then the only property taxes we'll pay is likely to be on the clubhouse.
Heath tells KNEB News he believes the golf course was the final property owned by the Leasing Corporation. He says the future of that organization will be determined by discussions of the City Council going into the new year. Well, residents of Box Butte County have until the end of this month to share their insights and ideas for the future of the county through a new 30-year comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan aims to guide Box Butte County in addressing land use, infrastructure, economic growth, and community priorities over the next 3 decades. Zoning Board Administrator Mike Johnson said feedback gathered through the survey will be key to the plan's development, ensuring it aligns with local values while addressing emerging challenges and opportunities. More information and the survey are available online by going to the Box Butte County website. We'll have more news right after this.
Looking for free instead of fees? Platte Valley Bank can help you keep your finances moving forward with no ATM fees. Whether you're headed to the lake, the mountains, or just to the grocery store, you can enjoy the freedom of free ATM access anywhere, anytime. Platte Valley Bank. You belong here.
When it comes to your health, you deserve the very best. At Morrill County Community Hospital, they provide top-notch care with compassion and expertise. From routine checkups to advanced surgeries, their dedicated team is here for you 24/7. With state-of-the-art technology and a patient-first approach, they ensure you and your loved ones receive the highest quality care. Because at Morrill County Community Hospital, your health is their priority. Visit Morrill County Community Hospital today in Bridgeport. Morrill County Community Hospital. Exceptional care right here at home.
Welcome back. A 21-year-old Chadron man is facing felony charges for allegedly slashing another man's neck Christmas night. According to Chadron police, officers were called to a physical altercation in the 300 block of East 3rd Street, where Poseidon Sanchez claimed to have been assaulted. Shortly thereafter, a second call led to investigators going to Main Street, where a male found bleeding profusely from a laceration to the neck was tended to until taken to community hospital. After officers returned to the 3rd Street residence and learned Sanchez had pulled out and used a knife during the altercation, he was arrested for felony second-degree assault with a dangerous weapon and taken to the Dawes County Jail. Well, a Lyman man will soon begin a 3-year prison sentence with the Nebraska Department of Corrections after losing his motion to the Nebraska Court of Appeals. 12 months ago, 54-year-old William Langley was found guilty of a Class 1D felony charge of possession of a firearm by a prohibited person. His 3-year sentence was to begin immediately unless an appeal was on file by the end of the day of December 21st, 2023, which was filed in time. However, yesterday, the appellate court ruled that they found no error in Langley's motion to suppress because law enforcement entered Langley's residence with consent and did not perform a search. The gun that was located was presented to a deputy by Langley's girlfriend's mother, who had invited the officer into the home. Following Thursday's court ruling, Langley will be subject to begin his prison sentence in the near future. And the state of Nebraska saw less revenue than forecasted during the month of November, both in gross and net receipts. Gross revenue is down 2.6% from expectations, with refunds up 1.5%, leaving net receipts at $474 million, down 4.5% from the forecast of $497 million. Net sales and individual income tax receipts were lower than forecast for the month by 3.2% and 8.8% respectively. As of November 30th, the net general fund receipts were $2.198 billion, 1% below expectations for the fiscal year so far.
Fly United Airlines, operated by SkyWest with Western Nebraska Regional Airport. United is dedicated to going the extra mile for you with daily flights to and from Denver, along with a commitment to excellent service. Reserve your flight today, and remember, United miles can be earned and redeemed with your flights. While at the airport, stop and enjoy authentic Italian food at Roma Italian Restaurant. Plus, Hertz Thrifty Car Rental is there for your car rental needs. Make life easier, relax, and get on board with Western Nebraska Regional Airport.
I imagined retirement in a place where we could enjoy our golden years, where adventure and friendship are the only items on the schedule. The Garden Homes at Northfield gives us the luxury we planned for and peace of mind when it comes to convenience, safety, and comfort. We never have to stop and think about the day-to-day upkeep. We love to explore abroad, but most importantly in our backyard. So much to do, so much to see. Here at Northfield, we get the protection of life care, incredible tax benefits, and secured rates for aging services. It's peaceful, knowing that if our needs change, we'll be taken care of. And most importantly, that our kids will never have to make any tough decisions. There never seemed to be enough time to do all the things we wanted. Now we get to focus our energy on enjoying what this community has to offer. At the Garden Homes, life is ours again. A place we had dreamed about. A chance to focus on us.
Welcome to Kelly's Liquor, your liquor cabinet. Whether you're a wine enthusiast, a whiskey sommelier, a tequila connoisseur, or you just love your beer, Kelly's has the best selection of what you're looking for. Family owned and operated since 1946 and right on 27th Street in Scottsbluff. Come see us today at Kelly's Liquor, your liquor cabinet. And remember to be a good neighbor. Don't drink and drive. Kelly's Liquor, West 27th Street in Scottsbluff.
This is KNEB.TV Ag News from the Scottsbluff Body and Paint Ag Desk. Scottsbluff Body and Paint, you're driving home our reputation.
Welcome to another edition of Cattle Call. I'm Susan Littlefield on the Rural Radio Network, being brought to you this week by FNBO, the Great Big Small Bank. First and foremost, my apologies for my voice. I have completely misplaced it. I'm thinking it's because of watching a football game this weekend, as I like to blame it on. Unfortunately, that isn't the reason. But we are going to look at a variety of different things that have happened. We're going to do a quick rewind of 2024. I'm going to put Brad on the spot to get his thoughts on what some of the biggest highlights were. But we're also going to talk about where we're at cash-wise, and really, is there going to be more cattle available come January 1? We've got a lot to unpack in this week's episode, a holiday episode as well. But first and foremost, Brad, Merry Christmas to you and your staff and your family there at KKV Trading.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for having me on. And yes, Merry Christmas to you and your family, and to people that are, for some reason like to watch your program. So yeah, it's a great time of year. I'm looking forward to having grandkids back home as well. We'll play next week by year. We're taking the kids out for a few days. So, but I'll be back, see once exactly the next time we do this. It might not be next week, but one of the guys from here will certainly fill in for it. That's for sure.
Yeah, we'll have Scott step in for you for next week. Let's reflect, first of all, on 2024. Since we're into this holiday season, everybody kind of talks about the year.
That's a good question. I spent an interesting year in terms of, for me, it was a year where somewhat the unexpected happened. I thought that we would certainly by now change some of this percentage of heifers on feed. Long cycle liquidation Sorry to bore you if that doesn't make sense to you, but we've never seen, at least, when you look at cycles like this, one take this long, to go through the whole liquidation thing. If you think back, I mean, you can go back a long, long ways, right? To the liquidation phase of, I think you have to even include September 11, coronavirus. I could even argue that things changed way back with mad cow disease. That's a long time ago. So anyway, I thought surely by now, we would see some further retention of heifers, which we really haven't. And that was part of the reason why I think a lot of us, fundamentalists were fundamentally bullish. And it turned out that, hey, even with having to feed a ton of heifers, we still ended up with a fantastic market for the most part for the year. One of the things that we did change in last year, Susan, was that we dropped off on the cow slaughter, nearly 18% below a year ago after back to back, but especially back to back years of huge cow slaughter. So we have stemmed that, we have slowed that down. And I guess the other thing moving forward is, about every other program or show that I sit through for these things, there always seems to be that demand question, so, sometimes the smart aleck part of me, the sarcastic part of me says, well, look at beef production. It really wasn't down very much from a year ago because the weights were so big. The overall supply was down a little bit, but the beef production was not down very much because of our record weights. We rallied. Part of the reason we rallied is demand. I mean, the function of demand, the whole thing of demand on cattle to me is interesting, Susan. It's different than it is for corn. Okay. It's, or whatever, anything that's a storable, non-perishable product. You put it away in the bin and there it sits. That's how many bushels you put in there, and that's how many bushels you're going to take out, right? Cattle, totally different deal. The measure of demand to me is how much can you sell at how high a price, right? And so I don't know, these guys that can magically predict when the demand is going to get poor, they're a lot smarter than I am. And frankly, I don't think that they know, but we'll see once coming out of New Year after the holidays, we'll see what demand feels like. After that, my expectations is that they'll be surprisingly decent. So
we'll take that. What about the cash? I mean, I know last week as you and I were talking, the thought was the cash should be probably better in the South, which it was. But where are we at spread-wise when we look at the North versus the South?
We saw the North, slow up just a tick. A week before, we got 196, relatively easy. And cattle that hauled the long ways before they were slaughtered too, by the way. Last week, Friday, we kind of limped into the end of the week with 195, steady to $1 lower. I thought that we might narrow that spread between North and South because an awful lot of those cattle had a lot of freight on them going all the way down there. And that's what happened. There was a little bit of 192 that traded later on Friday in Texas. So, a couple of things in play here. One of them is choice select spread and the chasing for grade, the looking for grade. Cattle grade better here in the North, and so that's some of it. I guess the cash in the North felt like we got 2 weeks in a row where you've got a holiday on a Wednesday. You're gonna have 2 4-day kill weeks, if that, hardly. Some different kill schedules. So the demand for the cattle isn't quite as great as it had been before that. Conversely, I would think the lighter kill is going to firm up the box beef market because there's less supply going into the channel. So if we weren't so current in the North, I would maybe be just, little troubled, but I apologize. I'll give you one of my quotes again that, you can believe it or not, but, my little Post-it note stack over here, the beginning and the end of all markets start in Iowa. And if you're from Nebraska or Kansas, you're going like, yeah, he doesn't know anything. And maybe I don't, but my point of that is not necessarily that Iowa has invented cattle markets, but it's Iowa that still has 50 to 60% of the cattle are negotiated. And we have a tendency to be a problem. We get backlogged. We're not current. We got big cattle. We can't get rid of them. So we're the reason that the market's in trouble, but we also get to be the reason why maybe the market's better than expected when we're pulled forward in current. I can give you an example after of yearlings that are already sold before Christmas. Very unusual. Weather's been good. The market's been good. Those yearlings were high when we bought them. Can't wait to get rid of them. They're going to actually make a little money. We figured they were going to lose money the day we bought them. And so from a supply side or standpoint, I feel great about what the position the North is in.
And to say how beneficial this weather has been. I mean, as you and I talk on Christmas Eve, there's not really been any adverse weather issues this year.
No, not at all. And if we get some of that, they'd knock some of this discount out of the fed cattle. I mean, typically February cattle would be often a premium with that built in. What if we get some weather? And now we're trading $6-7 underneath the cash in the North, at least. So one of the things the weather has done also is it's reduced the cost of gain. I think when we were plugging in some of those projections in August when those yearlings came in, we're finding out that instead of a 193 break even, it's maybe a couple dollars less than that because the performance has been good. So that's also encouraged us to stay current.
So what are you looking forward to into 2025 in this first quarter when you look at this cattle market?
I still feel that the tightest supply that we've experienced lately is in the first quarter of next year. I've been foolish enough to, say on your program that I think, that we're going over 200. I still feel that way. In fact, I could see, I could see a scenario where we have one of those moonshot blow off type top. A lot of markets have had them. I can give you a long list of them. And to me, the cattle thing would maybe be poised for that. Of course, one of those elements would be if indeed here at the end of the year, did we start to hold back some of those yearling heifers? Are we going to find out that there's less supply of the females? The other thing, of course, would be a weather deal. Winter's far from over. If we would all of a sudden slow that down, that might, get you going here too. But I'm wondering this whole cycle thing, unfortunately, boringly, I could talk for 30 minutes on this. I wonder if we're not changing this whole supply picture. I wonder if we're just going to have to get used to less cows. I don't think we're ever going to get our cow herd back to where it was. We're going to maintain beef production because we'll make them bigger and with genetics and all the rest and stuff. But I think from an overall standpoint, supply side standpoint, we're going to have to get used to a different kind of looking herd. And there's encroachment every day on the grass country, of course. So, it should be a good year. It's a year with the challenge for me right here is we're paying so much for replacement feeder cattle that the risk of the famous black swan thing, something you can't anticipate, it's huge. And so when you've got break evens way up here, something weird happens, be careful. I find myself, suggesting and using more put options, more boring strategies like that, more safety net type things than I ever have before, and hoping that I don't need them. Much like buying insurance, right? You don't want to use it either. So be careful. But I think we're in a great spot here from a supply side standpoint for a little while.
All right, Brad. What's the best way for folks to get a hold of you?
712-722-0023, or maybe better yet, kkvtrading.com. You can find out all about us there. Merry Christmas, Susie.
Merry Christmas, and thank you so much for the recipe. I am looking forward to officially making Brad's whole ribeye loin for Christmas for my family. Merry Christmas, and we'll see you in the new year.
Sounds great. See you then.
All right, quick reminder to everybody, commodity futures and options do involve a substantial risk of loss, not suitable to all investors. And that's another edition of the Cattle Call, brought to you by FNBO, the great big small bank, right here on the Rural Radio Network.
Are new windows from Renewal by Andersen a great investment? You're darn right they are. Did you know that for less than your cable bill or cell phone bill each month, you could have new windows from Renewal by Andersen right now? Do the math. Renewal by Andersen windows will likely cut your energy bills significantly. They will likely substantially increase the value of your home. They're a great investment. Please contact our team now and ask about our fantastic financing options with approved credit right now. Renewal by Andersen, a great investment? You're darn right.
You deserve to have a building that will last for generations. With more than 110 years of experience and thousands of satisfied customers, Morton Buildings is the industry leader you can trust. If you're planning for a garage, farm shop, horse barn, storage building for your RV, boat, or collectibles, there's no better time to buy. Contact your local Morton sales office or visit mortonbuildings.com to get started today.
Let's take a peek at your weekend community calendar, brought to you by Riverstone Bank. The community calendar is brought to you by Riverstone Bank. We're local and we love our community.
Changing leaf colors means yard work. Your friends at Tri-City Stormwater wants to remind you of the proper way to dispose of fallen leaves. Leaves make great mulch for trees and bushes and compost for future gardens. The city also has yard waste bins, so they can dispose of all your leaves at the city compost facility. Always keep your leaves out of the gutters. Not only do they cause clogging and flooding, they can pollute our waterways by causing nutrient overload. So keep your yard looking good and your drinking water safe, because it's our water, our responsibility.
Tired of feeling stuck? Not sure if you are on the right track? Platte Valley Bank can help keep your finances moving forward with checking account options to fit your lifestyle and an online account chooser to make finding the right account easy. Control your financial future with helpful budgeting tools and automatic savings plans. Now is the time to enjoy the ride with Platte Valley Bank. You belong here.
And finally tonight, the Scottsbluff City Council has signed off on a new company to handle records management services for the Scottsbluff Fire Department. Chief Tom Shingle says earlier this year, the Scottsbluff County Commissioners approved a new records management system with a company called First Due, which would cover basic incident reporting writing for all of the fire departments in the county. During last council meeting, Shingle explained that the city's responsibility would be for the services that go beyond the basics.
Anything above and beyond is going to be the responsibility of each individual fire department. In this case, this agreement covers inspections, investigations, advanced hydrant modules. Those are modules that we utilize and not all the other departments do.
The City of Scottsbluff services would cost $7,400 plus a $2,000 one-time fee for the first year, and then an annual $5,350 fee in subsequent years. Well, that does it for us this time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday.